Hello, everyone. This is Nick Dettmann with the next edition of the Dettmann Media Podcast, where we go over the latest social media and digital marketing tips, trends, analysis, and just flat out discussions about just that, the latest in social media and digital marketing. I got a couple topics here to cover today of pretty interesting importance, including Facebook recently taking kind of changing their course in terms of the privacy and user privacy debates that stemmed from Apple's latest system change that came out earlier this spring. So let's just jump right into our topics today. So the first item we'll talk about is that Facebook's position on user data tracking, which came to the forefront this spring. So, in an article posted by socialmediatoday.com, on August 11th, Facebook decided to backtrack on its opposition about user data tracking. And the social media giant said, in addition to that it will work to adjust its systems to help advertisers achieve their goals based off of this new user data tracking procedures, more transparency in that regard. The article quoted Facebook saying, quote, "With Apple and Google continuing to make changes via their browsers and operating systems, and with the changing privacy regulatory landscape, it's important to acknowledge that digital advertising must evolve to become less reliant on individual third-party data. That's why we've been investing in a multi-year effort to build a portfolio of privacy-enhancing technologies and collaborate with the industry on these and other standards that will support this next era," end quote. Like I mentioned before, the challenge of advertising and user privacy came to the forefront after Apple's iOS 14.5 update that was released earlier this year in about early to mid-spring. Facebook and several marketers said at the time not having the capability of understanding user behavior will put more irrelevant ads in front of people. Where on the flip side of that, Apple and Google felt that they wanted to gain more trust from its users and its customers that information that people were logging in and using on those platforms and those services would not be tracked just from a privacy standpoint, and kind of just feel like you're eavesdropping. So you kind of could see it from both sides of it, but it certainly does pose plenty of challenges for marketers going forward. So this is a major shift by Facebook to say, okay, we'll be on board with this, so we're going to start making the efforts to get on board with it and help the advertisers who utilize us being Facebook, to help reach their social media and digital marketing goals. So this will definitely be a topic worth keeping an eye on as it progresses over the next several months, for sure, and probably into next year as well. Moving to the next topic has to do with Hootsuite. I am an avid Hootsuite user here, so that's why I bring this up here. But if you're also a Hootsuite user, you've probably seen this little feature, and it's one I'm pretty excited about. Hootsuite has released its latest feature to aim to help users, social media strategists, better determine the best days and times to post. We all have that tough question, so Hootsuite is trying to help you with that. So the Hootsuite Planner, which is part of your service if you do use Hootsuite, and it helps users use the opportunity on Hootsuite to post multiple posts across several platforms at once. And it now uses past engagement and results to recommend the best times to publish to social media accounts. Now, this idea is to supposedly help you reach your audience at the most optimal times to maximize your social media performance. It's always probably the number one question social media and social media marketers get asked is, when is the best time to post? And the common answer, and I've heard it a number of times and I say it too, is it really just depends on what you do, what your brand is, who your customers are. There's just so many different features or characteristics that really kind of determine what could be or what may not be the best times to post on your social media accounts. So this data that Hootsuite is helping collect in terms of engagement on your previous posts helps determine or give recommendations on when you should make your next social media post. So this is a great tool that Hootsuite is now adding, and I've had a chance to utilize it, so it's really kind of a neat little feature and will definitely help people who are still trying to always answer that question of when is the best time to post or not to post. I don't think we'll ever really have a firm answer because, again, it just varies so much from industry to industry, platform to platform, but at least Hootsuite is trying to make it a little easier for us to make those really important decisions, especially if those decisions have some money running behind it. So this is a neat move by Hootsuite, and hopefully it will definitely pay for us to use it. And again, speaking of Hootsuite, you'll hear me talk a lot about customer experiences and user experiences when on websites and social media platforms. And Hootsuite announced a few weeks ago that it acquired Heyday, which is a Montreal-based conversational AI platform that enables brands to deliver personalized customer experiences. Quote, social is the new interface of commerce and customer care, said Tom Kaiser, CEO of Hootsuite, in a press release. Modern-day brands have to manage a multitude of daily interactions and conversations at scale, which is impossible to do with AI automation. So with the acquisition of Heyday, Hootsuite will now give AI capabilities to marketing, sales, and support teams globally so they can deliver exceptional experiences at scale. Now, the adoption and use of social media has certainly increased dramatically since the start of the pandemic, according to the press release, which is right about March of 2020. In Hootsuite's Digital 2021 report, it found more than 4.2 billion active social media users are spending an average of 2 hours and 25 minutes a day on social and messaging platforms. Another study, this one done by Edison Research, found that 39% of social media users expect a reply from companies within an hour, yet the average response time is 5 hours, the release said. In general, I've kind of heard you get 24 hours. So the immediacy that people want or response is definitely shortening, but 24 hours I think is still an acceptable number, especially if you're trying to reach people on a weekend. So Kaiser had another quote here. He said, Hootsuite believes in the power of personalized marketing and frictionless customer experiences that build trust and relevance. The new generation of shoppers want to engage with brands by making purchases and receiving real-time customer service on social. And the relationship starts and ends on social, so we're excited to offer brands a better way to deliver successful customer experiences at scale. Hootsuite said that it hopes its acquisition will develop deeper relationships with potential and even current customers. So we're again talking about user and customer experiences, creating that positive experience. That's why one of those things, and you hear the term social listening all the time, well, that's messaging and interacting with customers, whether they're current or potential or even past ones as well. It's important to maintain that connection and that conversation. That way people feel like they're getting the best out of what they're trying to accomplish, getting their questions answered in an appropriate amount of time. I was quite surprised to see how quickly people expect a reply, yet the average response being 5 hours, but I still think it's still acceptable if it's a 24-hour window that you reply within. Now that could change based on what kind of brand you have. Now if you're a company that sells products that has high competition, you may need to work on responding quicker, whereas if you're not in a highly competitive setting, 24 hours may still be of work for you, and I would hope and I think people will still be responsive and accepting if you're trying to reach somebody on a Saturday or Sunday, that you may take a little more time to hear back from somebody. So, but still, this acquisition will certainly help social media and digital marketers and really customer service people bridge the gap in response time and really try to connect brands and companies and organizations with the people that are trying to support what you're doing as a business or a nonprofit organization, for example. So there's a lot of interesting topics discussed here today, and if you like what you hear and would like to get a little more information about it, I do have a blog, and that is nicholasdettmann.blogspot.com. Again, nicholasdettmann.blogspot.com. Head on over there. You'll get an opportunity. You can get an opportunity to subscribe to my blog and get updates delivered right to your email inbox and get a little more depth and information than what we cover here on the podcast. So really appreciate everybody checking it out today. If you would like, you can certainly share the podcast. We'd like to tell people about what we discuss or go over here. And if you feel like you'd like to offer some feedback, I definitely would love to hear from you. Or if there are other topics that you would like to have me cover and kind of provide some insight, I'd be certainly happy to do that. So until next time, everybody take care, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.